Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse and the LCC Network for week 24 of the fantasy offseason. Our last podcast that we're getting out, or at least producing before our rookie draft. We got another great episode. We're going to kind of pick up where we left off yesterday. But first, let me introduce my co-hosts last week. Sorry about that.
There you go.
How's it going, guys?
What's up?
It's going great. Isaac is pushing through a monster migraine, so we're gonna drag him along this episode.
He's doing it for the troops.
To get it out for you guys to get this out on time. So not a ton of announcements. The OBJ photo commenting is finished. We gave you guys till June 14th. It's done. We only had 5 comments, so the entire league only 5 guys care to win a signed Odell Beckham Jr. photo. We'll get that together, and then we'll figure out some sort of way to randomly choose a winner so we can show you guys, a live video or something like that. And then we'll get that out too. Yeah.
I'm wondering why we only got 5. It's like, what other player could we actually have that we would get more than, 4 or 5 comments on? I mean, OBJ is one of the biggest stars of, our generation, I guess. Like the more recent generation, I guess.
I couldn't think of another player who would get more.
Yeah.
Than Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, I don't really know what to do anymore. I mean, give like $1,000 away. I get like 7 comments. I don't know.
Firstborn son.
My firstborn child. You can name my firstborn child. I don't know.
You'll get 6. You'll get one more.
So that was disappointing. That was really disappointing. But someone to be lucky enough to win that. And that's about it, guys. Continue to send us in your quick questions. We hope you guys liked the press conference videos. That was kind of fun to do and put together. We'll have a little more of that coming out during the offseason. And today, we have another episode of the Fantasy 4. So we're going through 4 rosters, kind of breaking things down for you. And then the other 5 of our top 10 single season collapses in LCC history. So yeah, that's a spoiler alert. Tyler, if you're listening, you're going to be on the show again, buddy. I wish I had a siren sound to play. But that's it, guys.
Google that. Do.
Yeah, just do.
I don't think that's going to help my headache.
Yeah, all night long just playing that for Isaac. But yeah, guys, with that, we'll just jump straight in, so that way we can get going. Here we go. One of my favorite drops. And we'll kick off the Fantasy 4. We've got Michael here from the Top Shotters Conference. Current roster grade, we all gave him a solid B all the way across the board. We feel like he's definitely got some pieces. Guys, are there any reasons you didn't grade him higher, or you did grade him higher than someone else? I mean, what do we like about this roster?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that I do like about it is I feel like the roster is set up pretty nicely. Take away the draft stuff. Just look at the roster itself. I feel like it definitely is an above average team that could easily, rebuild from last year, kind of move forward. And with a few more pieces, they could be really good.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, Antonio Brown, Adam Thielen. That's 3 studs. Blake Martinez is solid. And then a wild card in Vontaze Burfict. So we'll see how that goes in Oakland. But a very solid team. I think he only kept 4 guys, which is a little bit strange, but a very solid team. Isaac, any thoughts on his roster? Anything from you?
No, I mean, I really love his offense. I mean, of course, he's got a couple of holes, but just as far as the foundation, I mean, if I was stuck with that, I mean, I would be a really happy camper.
Yeah, and I think that's why we didn't go higher on his grade, is he doesn't have as many players as some other guys do, and he doesn't have a lot of the defense. I mean, he's got the Blake Martinez piece, but he doesn't have the defense that like a Mufali has, or like some of these other guys do. So he got a solid B.
I do think I'm with you, Isaac. He definitely has probably one of the better offenses in that entire conference. If you look at Adam Thielen, Antonio Brown, and Christian McCaffrey, obviously the defense needs some work, just like he did last year. But I feel like he's in a pretty good spot to start it off.
Yeah, it's a good place to start. Draft capital, I think he'll be wishing he had a few more pieces. Yeah. We gave him a solid grade of a C. I think I was a little lower on that myself, but a C across the board. He's only got 2 of his top 7 picks. And so that's
I
a
think
second.
I gave him an F, personally.
Did you really?
I think I did. There were two
Oh,
teams
wow.
I think I gave an F on the draft grade, and it may have been Michael as one of them.
Oh, I know the other one for sure.
Yeah, I know.
But Michael,
I know the other one. I think this one, it was like a, yeah, I think it was an F.
yeah, it wasn't
It was
good.
F or a D. It was low. It was low.
Yeah, but he does
If you're in
have all
rebuild
his,
mode and you're telling me you have 2 picks, I mean, come on.
he does have
Like,
all,
how
yeah.
much rebuilding can you possibly do?
3 of his waiver wire picks, which is,
I do like that.
yeah,
Exactly.
So-
Which is why I gave him a C minus, I think, because he still has all of those picks.
Yeah.
That he can add depth
well,
to
except
his
for
roster.
one,
So
because of Blake Martinez.
except for Blake Martinez, exactly. But I would take Blake Martinez and give up a waiver wire spot for sure. I think that was a smart move on his part.
If he was more active, he could have filled up those other 3 spots with other guys too that are better than your waiver wire players. But he got that one guy. I guess he just said that's good enough.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, my only concern with him really is on the waiver wire. I think so much of it's going to be offensive heavy that if he does pick offensive players and really solidifies the offense, he's going to have to draft defense almost entirely from the ground up with hardly any draft capital in the real draft. So I think that's the reason that I'm a little more concerned about his team right now. But speaking of the waiver wire, we've kind of go ahead, Isaac.
I was going to say, I mean, without a doubt, that second and third round pick is going to have to be back-to-back DBs because, I mean, that's just 2 required holes that you have to fill.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's kind of a mess.
Did you say 2 required holes that you have to fill?
That's what she said.
See, I'm
Isaac's
off my
a little
game.
down tonight.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so
Damn.
don't worry, buddy. I got you. I got your back.
Thanks, man.
I got your back. I'm completely off track. We talked a little bit about Michael's waiver wire. Isaac, you kind of had some of the things here in order based on the value that's there. You know, running back. He definitely could go. He's pretty early, so Damian Williams, I love a lot. We'll get into that on the next episode. We don't have a ton of time to jump into that.
Michael's
Marlon
got
Mack.
the second overall pick in the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Of course, Kevin's got the first, so we'll see if Kevin
happens.
is, with his co-hosting or whatever the hell he's doing with his team. If they go Damian Williams, because I mean, I really think Damian Williams is he should be worth the first overall pick out of anybody that's going to be there.
God, I'm so glad to hear you say that. I love that. That's my number 1 waiver wire pick too. In fact, I was just texting Cameron about that earlier because he doesn't think so.
Who the hell is he going to get that thinks he's better than that?
He was telling me he wants Edelman and Geis. And I was like, Geis is nowhere near what Damian Williams is going to be.
I remember him saying Geis like probably a month and a half ago. Honestly, he was talking about getting Geis in the waiver wire. That's really interesting. I don't even think we put him in our top 5 running backs.
And I told him that. I was like, he's
waiver
not
wire.
even on my radar. He's so far gone. He's not even on my radar.
Especially with
wire.
the offense coordinator coming out and saying Damian Williams is going to be the starter like this early.
Yep.
It gives you a lot of confidence. With guys, you still have an actual full committee. All you got's Carlos Hyde as a backup for running back for the Chiefs, so it's not too much difficulty there.
Yeah, and we'll dive into more of the specifics in the next episode when we do the waiver wire, which I'm really excited about. We're actually going to record that early because Isaac's going to be in town. But a couple other guys we mentioned he could get. You said he needs DBs. There's Clayton Geathers on the waiver wire. Earl Thomas, Justin Evans, Eric Berry. I think Eric Weddle in that conference as well.
I took off Eric Berry because I don't know why you would go with him, considering he doesn't even have a team yet. There's a lot more guys.
It would be
more safer.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a long shot. He's not a safe pick. But if you got to the end and there wasn't a guy you liked or something, but I just mentioned him because I feel like I have to just because he was so good at one point. But he wouldn't be my first pick. But yeah, Clayton Geathers would be a monster, and I think he would help kind of solidify that starting roster in the waiver wire.
I was reading earlier this week that they the Colts brought in Jonathan Cyprin for a visit because they're thinking about signing another safety, which makes me wonder because they already got Mateus Farley, they got Clayton Geathers, they have Malik Hooker. It's like, are they going to run a 3 DB set? And in that case, how where's his value at there?
I think it's just a depth move because Geathers has been hurt, Malik Hooker has been hurt, Farley's been hurt. I mean, that entire secondary, besides Kenny Moore, it feels like, has been injured recently.
Yeah, Kenny Moore got paid too.
Yeah, he did. He had a great year last year.
He's the highest paid slot corner now in the league.
That's a little surprising. Wait, I can cuss. Why did
Yeah.
I?
Pretty nuts, yeah.
I'll just bleep that out. Yeah. So you guys feel free to do it too, just not too much. I don't want to have to spend hours and hours going through this stuff, but
yeah, please bleep that out. It'll make it a lot funnier.
okay, I will. I got lost. Yeah, Michael. So so we got so distracted. So to finish off, what we got going on with Michael. So what did we categorize him as? A rebuild, in the hunt, pretender, or contender?
Well, you didn't talk about his wide receivers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so some of the guys he can get, Edelman, Cooper Kupp, Sammy Watkins, DJ Moore, are all going to be available too for a wide receiver 3. He's got some solid ones right now, but if he wants to add some depth, those guys will be available there too.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like if he gets one of those guys, like, second or third round, he's done with his wide receivers.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about him again.
Yep.
Because he's got his 2 starters and then a depth player. So they're good.
And just to let everyone know too, I know we've talked a lot about these guys going through the Fantasy 4 episodes, and we haven't really dug into them. We're saving that for the waiver wire episode, just so we don't spend too much time, kind of hitting on all of these. We wanted to mention them, but just so you guys know, we're not blowing smoke. We're coming in the next episode with, data and stats, reasons why we like guys, reasons why we don't like guys, and things like that too, to dive a little more into it. But with all that being said,
just
as
being
much as positive things we have to say, we're just teasing you right now.
Yeah.
We're just teasing you. Just unbuttoning the top button, but not showing all the goodies.
That's right. We don't want to show the chest hair just yet. We're just getting that mean V.
Everybody that's
going.
listening,
You know what
when
I
he
mean?
talk
Just
about
getting a
chest
little
hair, he's
peek.
talking about that Austin Powers, jungle chest hair.
That's right. That's right.
All of a sudden, I'm not really interested in what comes on the waiver wire. I don't want to know. So with all that being said, we gave Michael a rebuild status. 1, he doesn't have a defense yet, and his draft capital is tough for him to build one. And 2, we haven't seen Michael be a very competitive team yet, even when we think there's opportunity for him. So we really want to see him step more into it before we just label him as an immediate playoff contender. So, Michael.
Yeah, he's always struggled with IDP. I mean, he got Blake Martinez, but I don't know if that was really just a gift from Cody. But, I mean, maybe, year 3, he picks up IDP more, so he's actually more balanced than just offensive heavy. Because, I mean, a couple earlier episodes, a long time ago, when we broke down offensive, defensive points per game, Michael was up there with offense. He knows how to play your standard fantasy. He's really struggled mightily in the defensive area. So maybe he'll actually learn. He's got Martinez, which is a very solid player in both consistency and just your boom and bust and everything. But,
and I encourage everyone, we take in a lot of people who've never played at IDP leagues, and this is their first one. You know what I mean? And if you're that type of person, you've never done it, haven't done a lot of research, just stick to what you know and go from there, because you can build a halfway decent team. We've seen it before, it works, but it's better if you can get a more balanced roster. But obviously, if you don't know what you're doing, it's hard to do
listen to us. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, Daddy's got you. Daddy's got you. All 3 daddies got you. Don't worry about it. No, that's a good point, though. That's a good callback to an episode we did a while back about the projections and everything, or about the offensive, defensive rankings at the end of the season. So, cool. Well, on to another guy. We've got one of our favorite guys to talk about here on the show.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
Mike, owner of Dirty Mike and the Boys, I guess. So that's his name now. Here in the Elite
right.
12, current roster grade of a C. Reason for that is that there's just not a lot of players there that we're super, super excited about. DeMarcus Lawrence, you guys know how we feel about defensive ends. Tyreek Hill, he not a lot has been said recently about his situation, but he's still likely to be suspended for quite a while. And then he went and got a couple guys in drafts, some RB2s in Freeman and Lindsey. But I mean, beyond his safeties, there's no one I really love on his roster. You know what I mean? Like, there's no studs like Michael had and other guys have.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've already ripped into him for the Tahir Whitehead thing, so I'm not gonna do it again.
Yeah.
So his value even as a starter is not going to be that high.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a big gamble for a 6th-round pick. But he, like you said, he's already got John Johnson, Antoine Bethea. He's done there. He can get, of course, another 1 or 2 guys for your flex players. Tyreek Hill, he came and I'm pretty sure he won the court case where he's not going to get any charges. NFL is still going to look into it. So, yes, legally he's not getting any charges put on him, but he still could be suspended after the NFL concludes their investigation. So, it's still up in the air.
Yeah, you don't have to be convicted of anything to be suspended in the NFL.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, he isn't being investigated at all, but it's still likely that he's going to receive at least an 8 to 10 game suspension or 8 to 12 game suspension. At least that's kind of the rumors in the bushes. I don't know. I'm not, obviously in the NFL, so I don't know exactly what's going on, but that's just what I'm reading. So,
Jameson's the next up and coming Adam Scheffner. So,
God, I would love that so much. Give me 3 more phones, and I would be Adam Scheffler.
Give me 3 more phones. Bottom line with Tyreek, he's innocent, but at the end of the day, he's still an asshole. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Are you gonna make me bleep that out too?
I am.
Okay,
that's why I said it.
Appreciate it.
just bleep out the ass part, not the whole. So it's whole.
No, that's funny. Yeah. And then so Mike, kind of moving on, draft capital grade a C-, so even worse than his roster grade. He has his 3rd pick, and then nothing until his 8th pick after that, and he's got 2 waiver wire picks. So nothing high. Didn't enter the rookie draft. Didn't have the capital. A couple waiver wire picks, but beyond that, there's not a whole lot there for him to build a team with.
That draft capital grade was pretty generous.
It was really generous.
It could have been easily in the D's. Which
D's nuts.
No, I wasn't gonna go there.
No,
sure.
Nobody. Okay. Should I insert like crickets chirping right after that part?
I think
you should.
So Mike, team needs, man. There's a lot of them. You need a wide receiver. Tyreek Hill's not likely to do the job. You need a linebacker, a couple linebackers actually. Tahir Whitehead's not someone I would lean on. And then I think he's pretty good at running back. He could use a running back 1, but you're not going to get one of those this late in the season. So he's got a couple guys there.
The running backs that are available are no better than Freeman or Lindsey, in my opinion. I feel like his best bet is to focus on linebacker, receiver, and running back. Or not, sorry, just not running back, quarterback.
But you know how he did at the draft last year.
Yeah, we know.
So, him going, getting another running back.
Not worth that 1st-round pick.
Yeah, he got Collins and Lamar Miller back-to-back 1st and 2nd-round picks for you guys that don't know.
So he could go like Cooper Kupp and Christian Kirksey. Add a linebacker, add a receiver, 2 receivers, Sammy Watkins, Cooper Kupp. Yeah,
yeah.
But I think he needs a linebacker for sure, really soon.
Yeah, and Christian Kirksey is one of the better ones, which we've teased before, but we'll go into depth on the next episode.
On the next show, yeah, exactly. So team status, we haven't talked great about him, so it's pretty easy to find where he's going here. Rebuild mode, man. We were joking around before the show. We were off the air talking. I said, Mike, his team's just a disaster right now. There's not a whole lot there that I feel great about. Draft capital's not there. It's a team going to be built.
I wouldn't say disaster though. Like he's got a lot of stuff to fill. You know what I mean?
He's got one of the worst.
So a train wreck, not a disaster
of our conference.
No, it's not the worst team.
Yeah, he definitely has
one of the worst teams.
No, it's not the worst.
No, it's not the worst, but this is still a rebuild team for sure. I think we all can agree on that.
Yeah.
So sorry,
in that
Mike.
division, this team could easily still.
But that's true. That's true. We should have labeled him a pretender because he could still win that division and get knocked out of the playoffs. That's absolutely fair.
Jerry Mike and the boys, man. Don't sleep on them now.
Imagine if he beat you this year, Jameson.
Dude, I'm not even going to joke about that because he could do that. Like Mike
he will do it. That's what's funny.
He's got a dirty team, man. We already know. You guys already know what he does.
I walked up to him last year to start off the season. Like, what's up, man? He just socked me in the face and knocked me out. So
yeah, he did. He hit you with that 340 points or something in the opener.
Yeah, he
that was tough. That was tough.
Do not catch Mike in the month of September. That's all I got to say. Him and Tyler both.
No.
Don't catch him. Don't catch him then.
Or in the playoffs, you better be sweating bullets.
That's right.
Yeah. In fact, I remember the stat when I was researching him. He has the record, and he's played 2 seasons. In week 2 of his first season, he had the record that week in points, and in week 1 of his second season, he had the record that week in points. So he is dangerous in the early part of the season. So you got to be careful for him in the playoffs if he gets there. So Mike, he's an awesome guy. I love Mike. He's an awesome guy, but I don't love his team. So
It's funny how you're saying you love
Sorry,
him,
man.
but have you ever met
Still-
him? I know he was at the wedding, but I'm pretty sure you didn't introduce yourself.
Yeah.
I've met him once. He's just a cool guy, man. I talked to him at the draft when he's drafting, and I'm like, Mike, who you want? And he picks a guy, and I'm like, cool, and I put him in. We have a good relationship.
They're
We have a
texting
really
brothers
good. All right, guys. On to another guy we've got here. This is Mondo, and in the Top Shotters Conference. I'm sure he's excited to hear us talk about him. Current roster grade we give him.
Before you get in that, you know he's got to be excited that we actually got his name right.
That we got his name right, and I only got it right because I couldn't remember if it was Mando or Mondo now, because we've said it back
See?
and forth.
I told you, it's not just me.
Well, you put right next to his name in parentheses Mon-Do, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes it easy to remember.
Exactly.
I
So
appreciate that.
I helped you out, Mondo.
Yeah. Roster grade's a B+. He's got a lot of guys, a lot of studs that could really contribute right away. Alvin Kamara, Devontae Adams, Leighton Vander Esch. Those are all guys that are going to be top 5 at their position, I think. Kerryon Johnson, Amari Cooper for depth. And then Corey Littleton, to pair with Leighton Vander Esch. That's a really good roster. That's a very good roster to start.
Amari Cooper's your biggest hole there, but
It depends on who you ask. If you ask my playoff team, Amari Cooper's a stud. But
That's right.
if you ask anybody else,
That's right.
Current, not a lot to say. Just a really good roster, and I like that it's balanced on offense and defense. It's not so heavy on one way or the other, which is a really good thing for him. Current draft capital grade, not very high. It's a C-. He doesn't have any of his. He has his 5th round pick, but nothing in the top 4, and he only has 1 waiver wire pick. So this is not a guy that's going to be participating early in the draft at all. So even though he's got a really good roster, the rest of it's going to be like deeper depth pieces.
that was like me last year. And I was in the same situation.
Yeah.
All my top, 5-6 picks were somewhat taken. I only had, I think my first pick was in the 5th round. But, those 5 guys were dynamite, but I just bad luck for them to be so high point scoring. So I had to do something about it. But yeah, he's stuck because he traded that 3rd round pick to Mafali, but he got Corey Littleton, so that it's not bad. Value
If
there.
he didn't
I
have,
honestly see.
go ahead, Pat.
I was about to say, I honestly see Mondo as very similar to our next. I don't want to spoil it, but to our next owner, except just the roster grade is the biggest difference between the two teams. Is the next guy has a much better team in my opinion, but
Well,
I don't want to jump the gun there.
Here's a big difference for me, and this is what kept my grade lower. He's got studs everywhere, a lot of depth. Not one defensive back on the entire roster, not one, and he has no draft capital to get one. He has Khalil Mack and Von Miller, which is fine.
No, it's not.
But if they're
Don't lie.
both defensive
Don't lie.
ends, you can only play one of them. If they both get labeled defensive ends this year, which I think they will, I think that's what we're going to agree on. If he didn't have Von Miller, let's say he took Von Miller off and had a guy like a DB1, this would be an A roster for me immediately.
Oh, for sure.
But he doesn't have a DB, and you have to start at least 2 of them. So that's where
Yeah,
he'll
they
have to
scored
go.
the most points out of anybody.
Yeah, yep. So you need to go get a Clayton Gathers or one of those guys. You could go receiver too if you wanted to add a 3rd piece. If you didn't feel great about Amari Cooper, Sammy Watkins is there, Chris Godwin's there, Calvin Ridley's there, a guy we haven't talked a lot about, which we'll talk more about on the next episode. But overall, I don't want to put him down too much. Overall, it's a really good team. He just needs DBs desperately, and he doesn't have the draft capital to get them unless he goes somewhere else for them. So
You guys remember who his DBs were last year?
I do not remember. Nope.
I don't either. Because I was wondering who he
Yeah, I
could
don't
have
know.
kept
I'd have to go
instead
look.
of Von Miller.
And he might not have been able to keep anybody, but I mean, hopefully his plan is to get at least one on the waiver wire, maybe.
You guys talk for 3 more minutes, and I can tell you.
It's a bad
I
time
don't want
to
to do
stall.
that.
Exactly.
I don't want to do that.
I don't want it to be a second longer.
No, it's okay.
The weather's really
We'll just
nice.
move on. We'll just move on to the next thing.
So I'm going to Puerto Rico
Yeah. How's that going?
Yeah,
for
that's
my
right.
birthday.
Yeah, Isaac's going.
I'll just
Yeah.
play every sound drop I have on the bar until you get there, Patrick. So get ready. No, but
Come on,
but,
Wi-Fi.
Mondo, overall, we gave him a team. He's an in the hunt team. And even though we talked so great about his roster, why is he in the hunt, guys? Why is he not a straight up contender?
It's because he's in Mafali's division.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Mufali's not
All
going to let him take that division easy. That's for sure.
You want to know the entire roster?
Nope,
No,
just
tell us the DB.
Why would you tell us the whole roster? Just the DB.
Well, I thought you
And-
wanted to know all 4 quarterbacks, but
Any
never mind then.
honorable mentions there, Pat?
Yeah, there's plenty of honorable mentions. All right, so he only had 3 DBs, and I honestly don't know if any of these guys, well, maybe one was worth keeping. So Brian Poole,
Mm-mm.
definitely not. Sean Davis, that one may have been worth it.
Maybe.
Kenny, and then Kenny Vaccaro.
No.
Yeah, he was.
So okay, so
He
he
had
could
Cle-
then. I guess.
But he did have Cleo Mack, Von Miller, C.J. Mosley, Van Der Esch, and Wesley Woodyard.
He could have kept Wesley Woodyard, but he got Corey Littleton. You're not going to really, unless you're going to start 2 flex linebackers.
Yeah, exactly. I say let Von
But he
Miller.
had Blake Bortles. Why didn't he keep him?
You're so stupid. He should have added a safety instead of Amari Cooper, or maybe let Von Miller go, kept Sean Davis as depth or something. I mean, why Von Miller and Khalil Mack if they're both going to be defensive ends?
I know. Don't go
Yeah,
hard into him again because I've already
No, I'm not.
ripped into
I'm
one.
not. No, you're right.
Well,
You're right.
I will say Mack does put up decent linebacker numbers. Like, you could get away with starting him as the linebacker, and you feel pretty good about it.
Yeah,
You feel
but
better
you
about
know
him
with
being
the
at
new
the end,
rule
though.
change, which I proposed, they're all you can only start. I mean, if you're starting Von Miller as a flex player, you got big issues.
All right, so Mondo, DBs, but you're in the hunt, man. You're in the hunt. We believe that you can still make the playoffs and compete for a spot. You got a
got a good
solid
team,
team.
man.
Just keep building on it with the DBs, and you'll be fine. Last team, guys. I don't want to drop for him, but it's someone that I think we're excited to talk about. He single-handedly ended all of our fantasy seasons last year, and that is Billy Ray in the Elite 12.
What's that annoying song that Billy Ray Cyrus came out with recently?
Old Town. Well, that's not Billy Ray's song, but Old Town Road.
Yeah, Billy Ray's on it.
He is on it. Yeah, but he didn't come up with a song, but he's on it.
Okay, that could be his sound drop.
I like that song though. That would be a cool sound drop.
Anyway, moving on.
I'm gonna take my horse. All right.
Anyway.
Current roster grade of an A-. So this is a roster that it's pretty just built. It's pretty put together. I think it would have gotten a higher grade if there were more DBs that we loved. I mean, he's got Kevin Bayard and Eric Reed, 2 solid guys, but nobody that I want is my number 1.
Mm-mm.
On my secondary. Outside of that, it's really well put together. Ezekiel Elliott, Luke Kuechly, those are some studs. Devontae Adams, Todd Gurley, Aaron Rodgers, those are all studs. Amari Cooper, did I say Amari Cooper already?
Nope.
I know Mondo had Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper, it's really well put together. I do, and I'm not going to beat this to death or anything, but I do expect regression.
Be a
from
dead
Devontae
horse.
Adams.
Yes.
Beat a dead horse. That's what I meant to say. I couldn't find the lingo. I didn't want to say something weird. Devontae Adams, I think, is going to
Couldn't
regress.
beat my wife.
Todd Gurley.
What were you
I didn't
gonna
want to say I don't
say?
want to beat off a dead horse or something something weird. I couldn't find the words. It's late.
Did
Devontae
you already
Adams-
take your melatonin?
No, I haven't. But when you guys are talking, that's good. When you guys are talking, we're gonna take it real quick. That's a good reminder.
All right, Pat. Let's just not talk so we can't take it.
Devontae Adams, I expect some regression because of how perfect he was last year. He didn't bust in a single game last year. He didn't score less than 22 points in one single fantasy game last season. So there's no way he keeps that up. And then Todd Gurley, I don't know how you guys feel about it. We haven't talked much off the show about it, but with what all the moves they've made have me seriously concerned about his role and how they're going to utilize him. next season, at least early
But
on.
still, I mean, he's got Elliott, so this is his flex player, and having I would take Gurley over a DB as a flex player, even with the circumstance.
I would take the shot, yeah,
So
absolutely. But I'm
sure.
saying I expect some regression over what we had last year. But he's still a really good team. I'm not to oversell that.
well, I mean, I would hope so. He averaged 43 points a game last year, I think.
Yeah.
That was monster numbers.
Unreal. Yeah. Yeah, even with the regression, he'll still be good. I don't want to oversell that and make it sound like he's gonna be awful or anything like that. Just
Yeah, he's going to average 22 points a game next year.
no. I mean, even if he averages 30 or 33, something like that, but still, we just need to be aware of what might be coming down the road. Any thoughts on their roster before we move on to his draft capital?
No, we've already hit on everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I know we talked about some of these guys already in the other conference. Patrick, anybody? Anything? No?
I mean, nothing specific on his roster other than I feel like
He's just trying to make you
roster-wise?
talk so he could take his melatonin.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
talk.
what it is. That's
I was in the middle of it.
I was in the middle of it. All of a sudden, he's choking.
I'm just joking, yeah.
All you hear is clunk, clunk.
Oh man, that's what she said. But
I was gonna say without context.
But yeah, no, he's I feel like his roster honestly is probably just as good as last year's, which I kind
It's
of
better than last year.
I think it's better
foreshadows
than
what we're
last
talking
year.
about.
Yeah. Team needs. Isaac put I mean, not a whole lot of need. Just not to be nitpicky, but he could use a linebacker maybe. Another DB, a DB1.
You definitely need another linebacker
Yeah.
with Luke Kuechly, just in case of concussions come back or something.
But he's not
unfortunate
going to get
happens.
one. I mean, that's the thing.
No.
I know, but he could take a late shot on somebody else. He didn't get to do any rookie picks, so yeah, he's really just got to gamble.
He has no waiver wire picks either. So that kind of takes us to our draft capital grade of an F. He got the lowest draft capital grade, consensus grade that we've done so far. And here's why. He has none of his top 5 picks. He has none of his waiver wire picks. So this is a guy that will not even participate in the league draft until round 6. And
He doesn't even need to really come to the draft party. He can just text his response in. Just save yourself gas.
just comment from home like, hey guys, call me at 4:00 when the 6th round rolls around. So draft capital grade is not really good. It's the absolute worst we've had so far. And
If not, we can just make him run to the store and back by the time.
Hey, get us
we're
more
doing the
pizza,
draft.
Billy. We'll be back. It'll only take you 4 rounds to get there. You'll be fine. Now, with all that being said, we like to make fun because he knocked us out of the playoffs. With all that being said, he is a straight-up contender. We have him in the contender section. He's a guy that could easily win the division, especially if those guys stay healthy. Could win the division and could be a serious threat to getting back to the finals. To us, to the guys here, and getting back to the finals. So, I mean, I know we like to tease and all, but Billy overall, I think he's pretty set. My thought was he got so close last year. He was just selling out. He's like, I'm getting rid of my picks. I'm getting guys. Like I'm gonna make a run for it.
He's
this
all
year.
in. He's
Yeah,
playing
all in.
poker. He's going all in.
All in, laid all the chips on the table. So good for you, Billy. And I've mentioned this show before too. I like that he takes the shots on people that some guys won't take, that like the more conservative players won't take. Like he picks up Amari
It's
Cooper.
basically, Billy, he's saying he likes your balls.
Yeah, man, you got what it takes to play fantasy football. That's he takes the shot on Todd Gurley. He makes the trades. He's active. I mean, it doesn't always work out for him.
Semi-active.
It might not work out for him, but hey, I like the shots that he takes. So good for you, man. Well, that's it, guys. That's it for this Fantasy 4. We've only got a couple more of these left for the offseason. I think we've got 2 more through the rest of the offseason. So I hope you guys are enjoying them. With that, Pat, we'll turn it over to your single season collapses. We got 5 through 1 today.
That's right.
And I don't have a sound drop, so there's no nothing to
nothing
to transition over here. I can do this.
Come on, man.
God, what a letdown.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I
about
mean,
that.
that's not a bad sound drop for single season collapses.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that is true.
There we go. That's the
It is
transition
kind of-
sound.
Yeah, we planned that totally.
Totally playing that. So no honorable mentions or anything, right, Pat? We're past all that.
No, not
Okay.
unless you guys want me to recap, just list the ones before, but I wasn't planning on it.
Pat, my head's beating. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Number 5.
I do have like 6 or 7 honorable mentions. Let me just go. No, I'm just
So
kidding.
stupid.
No, number 5. This goes back to 2011, our second season as a fantasy league, and that's none other than he's gonna hate me for putting him on here, but Jordan, owner of the Afternoon Delights, from none other.
Wait.
All right.
Jameson, do you have that sound drop?
Oh no, I didn't put it on here, man. It's not on the show.
What?
Sorry, man. No,
Boo.
you didn't. No, in all fairness,
Ooh.
Go put it
in all
on.
fairness, there's not a single note on here that says play Afternoon Delights.
Well, he just put it on the show doc right before the show. I can't help it that Pat waits to 5 minutes before the show to put in his stuff.
Okay, you guys talk. I'm gonna throw it in here real quick and then I'll play it.
Okay, go ahead,
Man,
Pat.
the weather's just been great. It's just amazing.
I meant talk about Jordan, guys. Come on, man. Come on, man. Actually, I'm not seeing the sound drop in my save files.
Oh man, it's all right.
Oh, F.
I'm sorry,
failed.
man.
Just
I'm so sorry. It's
All right, Pat, go.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Jeez. No, it's okay. No big deal. No, so Jordan, go back to 2011. I know it seems a little odd to put him on there for that year because he actually made the playoffs in 2011. As strange as that may seem to some people, but here's the deal: Jordan started off the season 5-0. Started out hot, extremely hot. In fact, probably was one of the front runners going into kind of the playoffs, if you will. But he totally collapsed. I mean, it was bad. He started out obviously with like that 2-to-1 ratio wins loss, but he had a serious losing streak, man. I mean, it was so bad. He only won 3 games the rest of the season and got beat in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, we're talking about a guy who somehow won his division. It was all because of that great start. And just it literally cost him the playoffs. The fact that his team kind of derailed that second half of the year, and if that didn't happen, does Jordan get his first ever championship win? Does he get there and ends up playing his brother Ryan in the little Critter Bowl? I don't know, but I guess we'll never find out because of that stinker he put on in the second half of the year.
Man, yeah.
Oh,
What was
I
that?
guys could hear that.
I heard it.
I had it on my phone.
I heard it. Yeah. That's what it sounded like at the end of the year. Like this distant noise of Jordan and what happened in the first half.
Symbolic of what happened at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of Jordan's games going that way. I guess that was before I got in.
Yeah,
so
that was like 2 years
that's
before he
unusual
got
to
in.
hear. Oh man. Well, sorry, Jordan.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I know Isaac doesn't have a lot to say because this is before both of us were in the league. So, any other thoughts? We'll move on here. Number 4.
Let's do it.
No,
All right.
I mean,
Number 4.
Sorry, Jordan.
Sorry, Jordan. It's so bad. It was.
Sorry, Jordan. We're just gonna move on.
No, it's better if we don't talk that much about you. It means it wasn't as bad as this next person, which is owner of the Eastside Brawlers, John Nugent, my dad. Made the playoffs the year before, had Peyton Manning as his starting quarterback. He had a win-loss ratio of 2-to-1 to start out the year. He ended up hitting a losing streak that carried. It wasn't just that the second half of the year was terrible. It was so bad that it's another scenario where it carried over to the next year. I mean, that's how bad he collapsed. And it started out 5-1 going into week 7. And lost every game after that until week 3 of 2012. This man didn't win another game until September 24th, 2012. Like, I mean, that's how long he went.
That's rough.
So we're talking basically.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
This guy went from Halloween to September before ever winning.
Even with the splitting headache, I still got to get my "That's what she said" in.
So Halloween to September. Oh man,
the late September.
That's a rough year.
Like almost a full year.
That's a rough year.
He almost went a full year. He went 11 months.
Almost a full calendar year. That's rough.
But I will say this: started out 0-3 in 2012, ends up going to the Little Critter Bowl, but loses it to Jade. It's kind of like basically like imagine Tyler, right? Imagine one of Tyler's bad years, but somehow Tyler is able to fix everything and then go from there. You know what I mean?
Do the opposite. Yeah, the next year.
Yeah, do the opposite of what Tyler does.
Yeah, you know it's a fantasy world then.
Speaking of that, speaking of Tyler, this is a guy we promised would be on the show, and here we are.
Number 3.
Number 3. All right, so I think that kind of just signifies what Tyler's like whole fantasy career. He's made this list twice, and one of them's in the top 3. Started out the year 5-0 in 2017, so not that long ago. I mean, pretty much everyone listening right now was in the league at this time. Obviously, had a win-loss ratio of 2-1. Hit a losing streak that also carried into next season. Tyler started out 5-0 in 2017, and then listen to this: lost every game until. All right, sorry. So he loses his first game week 6, 2017, right? Same type of situation. He doesn't win another game until September 10th, 2018.
So how many games in a row?
So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He had a bowl game, I'm guessing, that he lost 8 and lost week 1. So 9 games.
Ugh, that sounds like Tyler.
That sounds like Tyler.
I remember that year.
After starting 5-0.
5-0.
Like,
Lost
this man
7
needed to
straight.
win
Lost the division.
2 games, and he would have guaranteed to be in the playoffs. Just 2. Getting a 7-5. That's all he needed. Couldn't win a single game.
Like we said before, he's pretty deadly at the beginning of the year, and then he just stops caring and paying attention, which is why we're always telling you guys to be active. And we had plenty of examples just to show you where the railings just fell off of teams that just didn't participate.
Yeah. Yep.
And
here they are, all 10 of them.
And trust me, this scenario had nothing to do with really luck, I don't think, with Tyler. It's just Tyler historically isn't as active, like Isaac just said, in the regular season. And that's what kind of bit him in the butt. He finished 5-7. He had literally almost nearly 100 points more scored against him than he scored. Kind of the story of Tyler and every year just about. But that was the worst. All right. So maybe good things are to come.
Well, Pat, sticking of 2017, isn't this next guy in the same year?
Yeah.
Number 2.
That's right. A team that probably did even worse than Tyler, except it was catastrophic how far the person fell from where they were the previous 2 years. That is none other than the owner of the Crazy Legs. That's Matt Legg. Hey, the guy won back-to-back Litter Critables. You cannot disregard that. But the fact that he...
Oh, my God. Remember at your wedding?
Oh, my God.
He was going around shaking hands. Two-time champ.
I remember that. Oh, man. I remember that.
Literally, Matt got all of his points for to get on this show because of what happened the year before. He won a Litter Critter Bowl, and he made the playoffs. Obviously, they kind of go hand in hand. But, dude, started off the season out. I mean, it was hard for me to even want to put this one in here because it was bad from the start. He started out 0-2, and it was just a total collapse. Ended up falling well off, finished the season at 3-9, and had nearly 400 points more scored against him than he scored. In retrospect, though, that's not the worst we've ever seen. Kevin, listen to this. Kevin had nearly 800 points more scored against him than he scored.
Oh my God. Oh
that
my
is the
God.
worst ever in league history. I mean, there have been teams who have gone 1-11 in our league, but didn't do that bad. Like, they did not do that bad. I know I'm jumping off here. I don't want this to be the Kevin bash party, but no, I just wanted to say, like, Matt's year was bad, but we've definitely seen worse. But finish year 3-9. Man, I don't know what to say. He's won 7 games in 2 years. So I think the story of this kind of rolls deeper than just kind of the whole 2017. It carries into 2018. Now we're going to 2019. Can Matt can he fix where he left off? And that's why he made this
I mean,
single
he
season
did win
collapse.
2 back-to-back though, so it's like,
Yeah, you can't take that
Yeah.
away from him. Like I said at the very beginning, it's just that's why he's on here. He went from the best from back-to-back years to one of the worst teams in the entire league the following year, and then the year after that.
wasn't he second to last in 2018 behind Kevin? Or
In the
is he
conference,
ahead of Troy? Yeah.
I want to say. Well, hang on, I can tell you.
Or I can't remember if Charles was worse than him.
I'm trying to pull
Matt
it
is
up.
the
'Cause
Dallas
otherwise-
Cowboys of the LCC.
Well, Matt finished 4-8.
He got
last
the
year.
rings.
He got the ring.
No. That Jade is the Dallas Cowboys. Got all that shit in the 80s. And, it's irrelevant. Sorry. Freaking irrelevant now.
I'll bleep it
Oh.
out. Don't worry about it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Matt
That's funny.
Matt is 7 in the past 2 years, 7-17 overall.
Oh, Matt, come on, man. Oh, wait. What am I doing?
Come on, man.
What are you doing, James?
I forgot the sound drop, man.
But yeah, that's the real
My
reason why
melatonin's
Matt
kicking in. I took it 20 minutes ago.
he snuck it in. No,
I
but
stuck it in.
that's how we ended up on the list, just because of how sharp he fell and how far he fell from 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. I mean, just night and day difference.
Yeah, it's been rough since we switched to the IDP format.
I'm surprised Kyle didn't make the list, considering that
He
he was in
Well,
the championship and then was irrelevant the next
honestly,
week.
though,
I think he won
Kyle-
5 games, though, didn't he?
he won 5 games, and he actually wasn't that far from making the playoffs.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I just know that was another big drop.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, most of the teams, no, not most of the teams, a good bit of the teams that at least go to the Little Critter Bowl do struggle the following year. I mean, that's kind of a historical fact. If you look at
I guess that's
Colby,
why Billy went all in.
Yeah, that's why Billy went all in. But I mean, he looks like he should be able to rebound. So
You know what was the biggest
Yeah.
drop? I think one of the biggest drops over seasons was Cameron's 10-win season, and then the next season when he won 1 game. You guys remember that one?
Yeah,
What year's
Pat,
that?
where the
Yeah.
hell's that?
That was a big drop. It's a
Yeah.
9-win drop over one
But-
season.
it is, but it's not championship type stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like
So
I mean,
basically,
Cameron
you didn't
went
do
1
shit in
and
the
11.
playoffs, so it doesn't really count on the list.
Yeah. He wouldn't have really made the cut based off like all the criteria.
I guess this is the only list you
And
don't
if you
wanna
guys
make.
missed the criteria, make sure you go back to the last episode where he fills you in on how he scored everything. He just didn't
Yeah.
make all this stuff up.
If you haven't listened to the last episode, what are you doing? Listen to top 5. Go back, listen to 10 through
Exactly.
6, and then show up here.
What if they want to listen to 1, 2, 3, 4? That way.
All out of order. All right, guys, on to the last one. Here we go.
Number 1.
Yeah, so this next one, I wanted to change it because I felt like it didn't deserve to be number 1, but there's you can check off a huge list of stuff for sure. That's a owner of a former team in the league named I Suck Dixon. That is none other than Ryan Floyd, Jordan's brother. Actually is a former champion in the league and everything. Made the playoffs. So real quick backstory, 2016 was his first year back in the league since 2011 when he won the championship, right? So he goes from winning a championship from 2011 to rejoining the league in 2016 and just totally misses the playoffs. I mean, started out the season all right. He actually did have a win-loss ratio of 2-1 starting out. Again, previous year he was in the league, he made the playoffs, won the championship, blah, blah, blah. Started out 4-2, but ended up finishing 6-5 at the end of the year and missed the playoffs by 1 game. And honestly, I'm not saying he would have gone deep in the playoffs, but anything's possible once you're there. We've seen it with a couple teams, obviously. And, who knows? Maybe we're looking at a different team. Maybe Ryan's in the league. Maybe he gets another championship or at least championship appearance or semifinals, something. But missed the playoffs by 1 game only because he struggled so much in the second half of the year. And you guys may not remember him, Isaac. That was your rookie year in the league, 2016. Jameson Uh,
That was the first
that-
year of IDP, or no?
No, it wasn't.
no,
We were in the regular format.
yeah, we did have 2 separate conferences though, and ended up finishing 6-5 because of the fact that it was an 11-week. It was a weird. I don't know why we did it, but we did 11-week regular season that one year. And maybe if we have a 12-week regular season, he gets in at 7-5, or maybe he finishes even worse at 6-6. I couldn't tell you, but definitely another team that kind of night and day between winning a championship and then not even making the playoffs.
Man,
Well, there you have it.
there it is. That's the top. That's the top
Yeah.
5 single season collapses in LCC history, guys. Next episode, we'll be here with the waiver wire. We're going to break everything down. We don't have anything scheduled other than that, so we'll get to kind of dive into it. If you have any questions that you want, actually, you don't really have time. We're going to be recording before you send anything over to us, but maybe we'll shoot you guys a text, the group text, and say, "Hey, send us any questions." We're going to break everything down.
don't.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for that
Yeah.
episode. We're going to be recording
Make
it during.
sure, by the way, go listen to those interviews when you get a chance too, between owner of Protect the Booty Tyler and Mufasa Moneymakers Mafale. Both pretty good interviews, and I think it'd kind of give you guys some insight on kind of the way they think and stuff, and the way they're approaching the 2019 season.
Yeah, and the rookie
Patrick
draft.
is the new Aaron Andrews.
What do you-
Patrick's
right.
the new Aaron Andrews, and Jameson's the new Adam Scheffner.
Hey, I'm cool with that.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Hey, I don't want any cameras in
hey,
my
Pat.
bathroom, okay?
You got
I
a
was
nice
gonna
rack.
say no nude for Patrick though. not
Yeah.
interested.
Don't want to see that.
All right, guys. So that's it. We're out. We'll see you on the waiver wire episode, and we look forward to a really exciting rookie draft here over the weekend.